Hey, how's everybody doing there? So this church that you see in front of us is the cathedral in Guadalajara. It's a Roman Catholic church, and it was built in 1541. It was a primitive church built out of adobe and a thatched roof. In 1548, the region was declared a diocese by the Holy See, and the church became the cathedral of the city. On May 30th, 1574, during Mass, neighbors fired shots in the air and some of the bullets fell onto the cathedral and started a fire, severely damaging the building. Work began on a new cathedral, which was commissioned in 1561 by King Philip II, but progressed slowly because of scarce funds. The new cathedral was completed in February 1618. So, also in 1818, an earthquake shook the city, causing the towers and the dome to collapse. These were replaced, but the new structures were destroyed by a subsequent earthquake in 1849. The new towers were designed by an architect, Manuel Gomez Ibarra. So construction took 3 years and cost about 33,000 pesos at that time. The new structures were completed in 1854. Pope Pius XI elevated the cathedral to the rank of the minor basilica. Currently, the cathedral continues to be in danger as it was damaged by earthquakes in 1932, 1957, 1979, 1985, 1995, and 2003. Some of those current threats include a slight tilt of the north tower and structural damage to the dome. So these are pretty fascinating. These are just, they're like little door knocker type of things. I see them everywhere, and I will say I'm pretty fascinated by it. So these are the original doors from that time period, and here's another one. So what's also interesting about this cathedral, as you'll see, it houses the mummified body of Santo Inocia, a young girl from the 1700s who, according to legend, was killed by her father for converting to Catholicism. And you'll see over there, there's the altar, and it's made out of silver and bronze. And what's really fascinating, as we walk around the cathedral here, is that you're able to go under the altar. So this, I don't know exactly what it is, but a lot of people in front of it, so must be important. So here you can see the ornate altar. Just really incredible, the amount of detail, architecture, and just the amount of work that went into it. So I was wandering around here, and I noticed on the left-hand side there, that guy going down. So this is where you can enter. It's kind of like the catacombs. So there's a couple cardinals and several other former bishops of the diocese, including Father Juan Jesus Posadas Ocampo, who was assassinated in 1993 at the Guadalajara International Airport. And I will say, this is probably the only church in Mexico that I've seen have catacombs under the altar that you can access. So I couldn't tell you what's in those boxes. I'm not sure why there's blue lighting in here, but it must be important because it's blocked off. There's some other boxes, ashes, an important hat. So overall, I will say it was really impressionate to see. So when I came out of the church, there was this rotunda, which is the Rotunda de los Jaliscienses Illustrious. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, but this is it honors the memory of the people of Jalisco that has transcended through history. This here is just part of the square. There's some statues of important people. Then what I thought was pretty interesting was there's this bronze head down here, and there's a tree growing out of it. So that was pretty interesting. Here's another shot of the church and the spires. I couldn't tell you which one's damaged and which one's not, but really impressionate to think that it's been around for that long. It is the second oldest church in Mexico. The first one is in Mérida. I did a video on that, so it's in the history. So I thought the best way to see the city, since it was so hot, was to get on a tour bus. So that pink object you can see there is the famous Guadalajara sign, and this is the famous city center. It's located right behind the cathedral. So there's some statues of important people and talking about the independence of Mexico. So this building here is the Teatro de Golado. It was built in 1866, and it is the home of the Guadalajara Symphony, as well as many other cultural events. Really beautiful building. There's some great pictures of it online. It was closed because of COVID, but if you're in the area, definitely stop and check the building out. The other thing that I really like about Guadalajara is there's all of this artwork that's painted on the side of buildings or just anywhere that they can find some space. This here is the Independence Park. If you notice, there is a lot of graffiti on the ground. There's been some type of protest. I don't have the information exactly what that's been, but this is one of the largest parks here in Guadalajara, in the city. So as we move on, this street here has a lot of old mansions that have been turned into restaurants. Some are still private residences, some have been torn down, but it's very similar to how it is in Mérida on Tijon Avenue. So it's nice to see, right? You get a glimpse of how the opulent and the wealthy lived in the past. So some of them are storefronts, some of them are restaurants. It's once again, it's pretty interesting to see. So. Next thing are these Los Arcos de Guadalajara that we just passed there, and these are the arches to the city. It was built in 1939 to celebrate the city's 400th anniversary. It's kind of like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, France. And then you can see like a lot of the streets here, 5-6 lanes wide, that go into this massive roundabout. And in the center of this is the goddess Minerva. And I will say, it is very difficult driving in Guadalajara. It's probably one of the only cities I won't drive in anymore. So here's that goddess Minerva. It's a big giant water fountain in the middle of the rotunda there. Next monument is the Glorieta Los Niños Heros. It honors the 6 Mexican teenage military cadets who died defending Mexico City Chapultepec Castle from invading U.S. forces in September 13, 1847. So, this is just the other side of the street as we make our way to the final stop. So this next church is the Templo Expariato del Santísimo Sacramento, which is a Catholic church. Work began on August 15th, 1897, and was completed 75 years later in 1972. So what's also pretty fascinating about the church is the clock, which was imported from Germany. It has 4 lighted dials and also has 25 bells, which can play 25 pieces of religious and popular music, such as Ave Maria, the Mexican national anthem, Los Manantias, and many others. So the cost of this clock was about 450 million pesos in 1972. It was installed by German technicians, and it's interesting because there is 12 miniature statues of the 12 apostles, which rotate in and out of the tower whenever a musical piece is played. So definitely fascinating. So I didn't have a chance to go inside of it, but I think this is where I'm going to leave this video. And if you're in Guadalajara, there is so much to see. Definitely stop and check it out. Thank you, everyone, for watching.